What's going on, everyone? Ains here from Season Gaming, back with yet another statue review. Man, it's been a good couple months. Bunch of statues finally coming in after waiting for a while. And as you can see, today we're going to be looking at the new Bouncer statue from Gaming Heads, obviously from the Bioshock IP. Been waiting on this one. I ordered this one about mid-2019, so about a year and a half, less than a year and a half actually, which is, in the statue world, it's not too bad. Though I will say that if you watched my Rosie unboxing video, the other Bioshock statue from Gaming Heads, dealing with Gaming Heads has been kind of a pain. They use a weird payment system. It's not a very good system and site to deal with. That said, I really do like the Rosie statue previously, and this one looks to be in the very same vein. So I can't wait to get into this one. Looking at the box here, you can obviously see the front. Nice, very heavy box. The statue is said to be over 40 pounds, probably similar to the Rosie one as well. And as you can see here, just the background detail, and if you can see the bottom there, it's number 43 out of 500, so I got a relatively low number on this exclusive. Really looking forward to getting into this one. We're trying a little something different today, so a few of the requests I've gotten on my recent videos were to be a little more up close and personal, not just when I'm showing the detail. So I've got a lower table here, and I'm going to get down with the statue and show you all the details. And of course, at the end of the video, I'll bring over the Rosie statue, which is just over there, and we'll compare the two along with maybe another 1:4 scale statue to see how these compare. Typically, these ones are a little shorter than standard 1:4 statues, but they're like wider and heavier. Like the characters on the base themselves are wider and bigger. So I really like them. Like I said, let's waste no more time. Let's get into it. Okay, so we have the lid off, and right away I can tell you, like I was just saying, is that these are big, heavy pieces. And just looking at this base, you can kind of already see that. So I need to be careful. So Bouncer Exclusive Edition, number 43 out of 500, and you can see how wide it is, and there's the water splash from the Big Daddy. Get this out. Yeah, that's you're definitely going to need a pretty big base too. Pretty big table to set this on. This is definitely a bigger diameter than most of the statues in this vein. Alright. So it looks like his arms, part of his head, are on this side, and I have to flip it over and get out the other side. So let me go ahead and get these pieces out of here, and then I'll talk you through them. Alright, so got all the pieces out. Like I said, giving you a little closer look at the table here. Here's the big guy. The good news is we've gone through all these pieces individually, and I don't see any breakage, no issues. So let me go ahead and start with the little sister. So, nice piece here. She sits right up front in front of the Big Daddy. And so there's some nice detail work here. First of all, the paint job is very well done, very realistic looking, dirty, grimy kind of dress. Obviously the yellow eyes, her injector needle full of Adam, and even her skin here, the skin color and tone is basically someone that's dirty. The dress is torn right here and torn on her shoulder, and it's just a nice solid looking statue kind of accompaniment. So accompaniment, you know what I'm trying to say. I'll put her to the side right now. My only complaint, if there was one, is that while the vial here of Adam is painted red and dirty looking, it looks really good, but it doesn't look like there's anything actually in it. It would be cool if maybe that was plastic, and then red, so it would look almost clear like it contains something. But minor complaint overall, just starting to get nitpicky. Now here's the main frame of the Daddy. There's a lot of pieces to put on here, but again, very similar to what I said in the Bouncer statue. It's weighty, it looks good, the metal looks like metal and is painted as such. It's got that kind of bronzy, worn, torn up feel. There's scratches and grooves and everything else around it, which is really cool. While the actual pant leg, or legs, and the costume itself, or the outfit, is textured and painted. And so it's really well done in that regard. So let me go ahead and see if we can figure out how to get this guy on properly, because I want to be careful, obviously I don't mess up any of this. Alright, goes on pretty easy. As for this base, it's kind of interesting because there's the solid base here, and then there's this kind of textured acrylic almost, which is supposed to be the water with the splash, and this kind of effect is done really well, except, and I don't know if this is supposed to be a lighting thing, you know, coming out of Rapture or whatever, but it's like a yellowish. You can see it here. It's not blue. So it doesn't look like blue water, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why they went that route, but, you know, who knows? Alright, so you've got the nice big heavy drill, and again, it's just weighty, thick, kind of chunky pieces, which are really nice. I believe this goes on this side, if I remember correctly. Yep, there we go. Get these arms in. Okay, turn them towards you a little bit. Now, this is the exclusive edition, so you've got his head that goes on top here, but it's almost magnetic. It kind of slots on top, and behind it, it's got the battery part for the lights. So I'm going to put this on now to kind of show it, but when I bring the bouncer over and give you the comparison at the end, I'll have batteries in this and we'll turn it on and take a look at it. So it does have a red and gray kind of dot to where it's supposed to line up, I believe. There you go. Pretty strong battery, or magnet, pretty strong magnet, excuse me, and then just like the bouncer, there's a little switch here. You can probably barely see it on top. You push it and that probably changes his lights. So let's go ahead and get his tanks on. This may take a minute considering they don't really give you any instructions on how this guy is supposed to come. So unlike, say, the Prime 1 statues I've done video of or other companies, this one's pretty bare. It comes with a little card, just a certificate of authenticity, if you will. But, you know, there's no calendar, there's no instructions, there's no product offering from the company. Not like you get with those other companies. It's pretty, just the parts to the statue and you figure it out yourself, really. Alright, sorry to skip ahead a little bit, but a lot of these connecting pieces, which I'll touch on more in a second, have to go in certain spots and connect together. A little bit different from normal statues that I've dealt with anyway, and they're real finicky. So finally got it put together. Just putting on the last touch here. Really neat detail here you can see, which is just, you know, this is painted red, but again it looks kind of old and worn and everything else. And for something like a little detail that sits on top of the tank here like that, it just adds flair to the statue, which is really nice. So now you can see him as it stands. Like I said, this is a big, wide, heavy piece. Looks really great in person. Let me walk you through some of the details here. So push him up a little bit here. So I went ahead and put the batteries in. So you can hit this button here, and just like the bouncer, you can do yellow, red, or green lights. I know with the lighting I have right now to show you the statue, it doesn't look very bright, but they look really cool, you know, if it's a little more dim later in the dark. Like I've already said, drill all of the metal pieces, really good paint work, makes it look aged, bronzed, worn. All the words and adjectives I've already used, so I really like that. These connecting pieces here, they're very flexible. They had to they slot in and then they bend together to create this cage and frame back here. And once you have it all together, it's not really bad if you're moving it often. But these are not solidly secure. Look at this. See? It's kind of just sitting there, you know, looking like it's attached, but it's not really connected and solidified. And they probably couldn't do that, I'm guessing, just because of the angles. But again, statue of this price and kind of level of expectation goes up, right? And you just would have kind of expected they would have had something which would have been more solid around that frame. But, you know, that's not too terribly disappointing by any stretch. Again, looking at the little sister, she looks fantastic. There's really no complaints on her other than the atom vial I said. But a nice little adornment there. As I turn around, you can just see his tank. Obviously from, you know, this statue, there's not a whole lot to see from the backside other than his tanks and whatnot. But just the way this looks from the front and kind of the way it sets the it almost sets the tone of the original Bioshock 1 cover art from the game. You know, with him, the enraged Big Daddy, just ready to protect his little sister. And I think it's really, really cool in that regard. So, really like this. I've been waiting for this one just because I'm a Bioshock nut, love Bioshock. I think the Big Daddies, even though they didn't have personality per se, or they weren't a true character, they were one of the coolest enemies we saw out of Last Generation, maybe ever. I just adore them. So, another great piece for the collection. Complaints would just be this kind of flexible piece, and again, as you can well see, this water is not blue. I'm actually looking at the box, which is behind the camera, and the water is blue on the box, like I showed you at the start. So I'm wondering if whoever they contracted out to make this acrylic to go in the base just didn't use the right color combination, and it just came out more of a yellowish, clearish than blue. But other than that, man, it's a really cool piece. Let me now get set up. I'll bring the bouncer over and along with another statue and give you a final kind of once over. Alright, so here's a few examples. So as you can see, Big Daddy here looking nice and intimidating. Here's the bouncer statue we did previously. What I really like here is, you know, the difference in the little sisters, how this one's a little more confident, kind of standing there saying, yeah, I've got this Big Daddy here. This one's hiding behind and a little different, but as I said, you can kind of see standing next to, this is the Triss Witcher 3 statue I did recently as well. These are known for more of their detail. If you look, it's just very intricate detail in the character model, the base, the creature, everything else, in which I spoke to in the video. And it's also, as you can see, more of an up and down statue. These are wider, much bigger characters on the base. So while they're both technically 1:4 scale, there is a difference in how you have to display them in the size. You can't really see it fully, but this Big Daddy base, as I said at the start, is very big. This base here on the bouncer, or excuse me, on the Rosie, is already a little bit bigger than this Triss statue. This one is bigger yet still. They're at the same point in the front, but this one at the back probably has another 2 inches back. So just imagine the diameter around. This will take a big table to display, and they're heavy, like I said. So I could keep going on, but if you follow the channel, follow the videos, you know I've given my deep thoughts on all of these statues. I just adore them to death. This is another fine addition to the collection. Like I said, you can find it at Gaming Heads. I believe the exclusive is still available with the lit up eyes. I believe it was either $7.49 or $7.99. I'm going off of memory there. But if you haven't dealt with them before, they're a smaller site. As I said, not as fully featured as something like Sideshow, Prime 1, etc. But the quality of what you get for the money is definitely comparable, seeing as these are all in the same price range. And you know, if you love the games they sell and the characters they have, then by all means I would recommend it, because these are now 2 of my favorite pieces in the room. So, as always, thank you so much for following Seasoned Gaming. We're coming up on 6,000 subscribers now. A lot of positive feedback lately, and we're trying to do more statue reviews. We've got new shows in the works, so please just stay tuned. Appreciate all the feedback, appreciate the support. Thank you as always. Until next time.